Good morning to you. Today we will continue with the Constitution. In the last class, we have seen the duties of the Prime Minister towards the President and how the Constitution is silent on the periodicity of Prime Minister meeting the President and briefing him of the decisions of Council of Ministers in respect of administration and day-to-day affairs of Government of India, as well as the legislative proposals, etc. Now today we are saying about the President. What is the qualifications to become a President of India? What are the conditions? What are his immunity? And what are the term of office, etc. Then we will switch over to the election of the President, which is very important, especially when the US presidential election is also scheduled this year. Now, as far as qualification for being the President of India is, as you know, these are all 12th standard questions, but still, before entering into the major portion, we should know the small things. One is citizenship. Second is completed 35 years of age. Third is to be qualified to be elected as member of Lok Sabha. Number fourth is should not hold any office of profit under the union or under the state or under local authority or any other authority. These are the qualifications required. Remember, a sitting president or vice president of the union or governor of the state or minister in the union cabinet or minister in the state shall not be deemed to be a holder of office of profit. So these are all exempted categories. President, vice president, governor, minister in the union or minister in the state. These are all exempted from office of profit office. Secondly, the nomination of the candidate for election to the presidentship must be supported by at least 50 electors and seconded by another 50. What is the purpose? To discourage light-minded candidates. Somebody, just Tom, Dick and Harry, they file a nomination just for publicity's sake. So to discourage such light-minded candidates, it has been prescribed by the Election Commission, not in the Constitution, Election Commission, that every candidate should be supported by 50 members, 50 electors, MLA or MP, and seconded by equal number, 50 proposals and 50 seconders. And in addition, 15,000 rupees should be deposited as a security deposit to the RBI. And this will be forfeited if the candidate is not able to secure at least 1/6, remember, 1/6 of the total votes polled. So, forfeiture of deposit 1/6, security deposit 15,000, 50 electors proposals, 50 electors recommended, that is seconders. These are all the conditions which are important from the examination point of view. Second is, before entry into the president's office, he has been elected and he is taking oath. So in that case, remember, before entering into the office, he should take oath in the format given in Article 60. Remember, there is a separate schedule which gives the oath of office for various dignitaries. But as far as president is concerned, it is given in Article 60 itself. So, if there is a question whether where is the oath prescribed for President of India, is it the schedule so and so, or article, or appendix, then you should remember it is given in Article 60 and not schedule. And what does he take the oath of office? What is the format? He is, as I told you already, he is to preserve, protect and defend the Constitution. I have already told you, no other authority takes the oath of office to protect, defend and preserve the Constitution. Only the President of India. Second is another point you should remember is who is elected as the president. Not only this oath of office only for taking oath only for the president. Any person who is officiating, suppose the president is not there, he is resigned or removed or he has become incapacity. In that case, even for casual vacancies, vice president will take over as president. Even vice president is taking over, he should also take the oath which is given in Article 60. Supposing if president who is administered oath of office or president, remember Chief Justice of India. In the presence of, don't say he will be administered oath of office by, in the presence of Chief Justice of India. If Chief Justice is not there, then senior most judge of Supreme Court, senior most available judge of Supreme Court. Remember, very important. Secondly, another point you should remember is our President of India can be elected any number of times. There is no restriction. Compared with the US Constitution, US President can hold an office but not more than 2 times. He cannot hold more than 2 times. I have already told you, except only one is Washington. He held the office for 4 times. Then subsequently the Constitution is amended. As of now, a President of USA can hold office only for 2 terms. There the two terms are 4 years. Remember, not 5 years. Here the term is 5 years, whereas in US the term is 4 years, and it is always synchronized with the leap year, which is synchronized with the leap year. This year there is a presidential election in US. It is synchronizing with the leap year, but in India it is 5 year term. Remember. Secondly, what is the term of office? Term of office is 5 years for the President of India. Third term of office is 5 years from the date on which he enters into the office. Even after the expiry of the term, he should continue. Immediately after 5th year, he cannot be relieved. He should continue till the successor enters upon the office. Secondly, the presidential election must be held before the expiry of the term. If the term is expiring, before the expiry of the term, the election should be conducted. In fact, the notification should be issued at least 6 months before the expiry of the term of the president. Remember, very important. Second point is the election to fill the casual vacancy, as I just now told you, due to death, resignation, or removal, or otherwise, should be held within 6 months. Within 6 months, suppose the president resigns, or if the president is removed, or if the president dies, in that case, the election should be held within 6 months, within 6 months of the vacancy. During the period of vacancy, vice president will act as president. Let us say if vice president is not available, then the Chief Justice of India. If Chief Justice is not available, the senior most judge will act as the President of India. For instance, I tell you the example. In 1969, May 1969, I think, May 1969, Dr. Zakir Hussain, the sitting president, died, and V.V. Giri was the vice president. So immediately he took over as the president of India. He became the president of India. Then remember, the presidential election announced. Mr. V.V. Giri wanted to contest for presidentship. Technically, he can contest. By remaining as vice president, he can contest for the presidential election. But he wanted to prove that he is very Puritan. So naturally, he resigned from the vice presidentship and he contested for the presidentship. Then the vacuum occurred. Then president is not there, he died. Vice president is not there because he resigned for contesting presidential election. Then who will act as the president? Then Chief Justice of India, Dr. Hidayatullah. Who is that? Dr. Hidayatullah took over the charge of President of India. This is the occasion. Remember. So, if there is a casual vacancy, the president will become the vice president. The president dies in the post of president. Vice president will take over. Most important thing you should remember. Now, what is the condition for presidentship? The condition is he should not hold an office of profit. If he is a member of parliament or if he is a member of state legislature, the moment he enters into the office of president, he deemed to have vacated that office. So Pranab Mukherjee, he was member of parliament. The moment he entered into the office of president, he is deemed to have vacated the post of MP or MLA. This is the most important. Then secondly, then what is how the independence of president is maintained? How the I told you, president is very important post. He should be neutral. He is the symbol of unity. He is the what is called first citizen of India. He is a man of he symbolizes the India in international fora, and he should be respected to the maximum. He is the highest office in India. That is the highest office. Now, how the independence of president of India is maintained? Very important question. Remember, first thing, he has a fixed tenure, 5 years. Except for violation of constitution, he cannot be removed. Remember, he can be removed only for violation of constitution by a process of impeachment. The term impeachment is used only for President of India, for not for anyone else. Even Chief Justice of India, judges of High Court, judges of Supreme Court, CAG, and other constitutional dignitaries, the word to be used is removed. Whereas in the case of President of India, he is removed by a process of impeachment. Number one, he has a fixed tenure. Number one. Number two, he can be removed only for violation of constitution by a process of impeachment. Number two. Number three, he enjoys judicial immunity. Number three. Number four, remember, no criminal proceeding can be instituted against him during the term of office for any act done or purport to have been done during the term of his office. Number three. Number four, no civil proceeding can be initiated for anything done before or after entry into the office unless 2 months notice is given, and no process of arrest can be initiated against the president, and he is not answerable to any court of law for any act done or purport to have done, which we have seen in Article 361 when the exception to the Article 14. I have already told you. Then the other thing is his pay and allowances, his salary and allowances cannot be diminished, cannot be decreased to his disadvantage. Most important. Now he gets the salary of 5 lakhs per month, and the pension is 2.50 lakh, and this cannot be reduced to his disadvantage during the term of his office. And secondly, his secretarial expenditure also, and his salary also is charged into the Consolidated Fund of India. It is not votable. The amount is charged into the Consolidated Fund of India. So this is the conditions, the term of office, etc. Now we should see what is the election of the president. Election of the president is very important in the sense, the president is elected. Election, there are 3 types of election. Remember, one election is the person, whoever is contesting, Mr. A contesting and B contesting, and all the people who are above 18 years will vote for A or vote for B. This is the direct election. Remember, kindly see, there are 3 kindly understand, this is a very tricky subject. You should understand the difference. How the American president is elected, how the Indian president. American president we are not concerned, but still, because the American election of president in USA is scheduled this year, I thought you should know at least peripherally, that is not deep, at least the framework you should know for a simple comparison. So remember, there are 3 types of election as far as chief executive, the president is concerned. One is a direct election. This is the olden days. That is 2 people. Even now, of course, 2 people will stand for the election. All people will vote. A and B. People above 18 years will vote, and A will be elected or B will be elected. This is a direct election. Very simple. Another is, you have a house of people and Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. You convert this Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha assembly, all these things into a electoral college. Kindly understand, you won't elect exclusively for electoral college. Our parliament, both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and the legislative assemblies alone, you convert these three organs into an electoral college, and president is elected by this electoral college. Remember, our parliament has various items of work. When it is discussing no confidence motion, when the parliament is discussing when Lok Sabha is discussing no confidence motion, it exercises executive control. When the parliament is passing budget, it exercises financial control. when the parliament is amending the constitution, it exercises the powers of constituent assembly. So like that, every time, whenever it acts, its role is changing. So when the parliament is amending the constitution, it becomes constituent assembly. The byproduct of the proceedings is the constitutional amendment. So like a girl, if the girl is placed before his brother, she becomes sister. If the girl is placed before a mother, she becomes, daughter, she becomes mother. The same girl becomes wife. The girl is same, but depending upon the fact before whom she is placed, her relationship changes. Similarly, Indian Parliament, when it is discussing no confidence motion, when it is discussing adjournment motion, when it is discussing censure motion, when it is discussing policy cut motion, in these occasions, the parliament becomes executive control. It is controlling the executive, or answering half an hour discussion, or answering 194 discussion, or 193 calling 193 short duration discussion, and 197 calling attention motion. All these things, all these occasions, the parliament, the Lok Sabha is converted itself into a executive control machinery. Similarly, when it passes budget, it becomes financial control. When it is amending the constitution, it becomes what is known as this constituent assembly. So similarly, this parliament and the state assemblies are converted into an electoral college for the purpose of electing the president. Remember, it becomes a elective body. It becomes a electoral college. Remember that it is a totally different function. That is why whip cannot be issued for at the time of this what is called election of president. You cannot issue, political parties cannot issue whip to the members for during the election of president. Similarly, when the parliament is discussing impeachment motion of the president for removal of president, or removal motion of judges of Supreme Court or High Court or CAG, the parliament is converted into the judicial body. So it tries, it investigates. So it becomes a judicial body. So when it is discussing the removal motion or impeachment motion, it becomes a judicial body. Similarly, on the same analogy with election, at the time of voting of removal or impeachment, political parties cannot issue whip. Why? They are not undertaking any day-to-day parliamentary proceedings. They have been transformed into a different role. One is election and another is judicial body. So whip cannot be issued. So like that, this is one way, that is converting the existing legislature into an electoral college for election of president. This is one way which we are following. Why? We have already got Lok Sabha, we have already got Rajya Sabha, we have already got Assembly. So you convert these organs into a electoral body and put the election of president in their hand. This is one way. Another way is, don't touch the existing Senate or don't touch the existing House of Representatives. You elect, you form a separate electoral college. So how many members are there in Senate? In Senate, I think 100 members, 50 states into 2, so 50 into 200. And how many members are there in House of Representatives? 538, 535 plus 3 members for Washington DC, District of Columbia. So 538. You elect members, 538 members of House of Representatives and 100 members of what is known as Senate. So the members are elected. Who is electing? The persons, American citizens who are 18 years and above, elect the electors of president. So the 538 plus 100, 638 form the electoral college in USA. These members of electoral college then elect the president. Kindly understand. One in our way is, you convert the existing parliament and assembly into an electoral college and put that machinery to elect the president. This is one way. Another way is exclusively for this work, ad hoc. Remember, ad hoc. You create an ad hoc electoral college by electing 638 members, 100 for Senate and 535 plus 3 for what is known as House of Representatives, and you elect these members, and these elected members, these members who are members of the electoral college will elect the president. This is the method for US presidentship. So this is the way in which, whereas our case, as I told you, we are converting the Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha and the assemblies into a electoral college. That is why we say President of India is elected by an electoral college consisting of elected members of both the houses of parliament and elected members of assemblies of all state assemblies, including Delhi, Pondicherry and J&K. All the three by a system of proportional representation by single transferable vote and the voting being secret. This is the method of election of president. What is it? I again repeat, President of India is elected by an electoral college consisting of elected members of both the houses of parliament and elected members of all state assemblies, including Delhi, Pondicherry and J&K. How? By a system of proportional representation and single transferable vote. By a system of proportional representation by single transferable vote, and the system of voting being secret. This is the method of election of President of India in our country. Now, what do you mean by proportional representation, etc.? You see, we have, don't take anything seriously, just to understand the principle, rationale. Suppose Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, and say Gujarat. These four states, if they decide, perpetually they can elect only from these four states. They can make a turn. This time Maharashtra, next time Gujarat, third time Madhya Pradesh. Like that, exclusively these four states can share the presidentship every 5 years. Why? If you do not have the formula, then these four states will share the presidentship. So, to ensure uniformity, to ensure rationality, we have kept a certain formula so that populous state, most populous state and less populous state are rationalized. That is why we call this as a proportional representation. Proportional representation means the highest populous state and lowest populous state should be rationalized. The representation should be proportional. So that is why it is made proportional representation. So what is that point? The President of India is elected by an electoral college consisting of elected members of both the houses of parliament and elected members of all state assemblies, including Delhi, Pondicherry and J&K. State assemblies only. You should remember the points. Number one, nominated members cannot vote. Number one. Similarly, nominated members of assembly cannot vote. Number two, councils, that is legislative councils in the states cannot vote. These three are excluded. Nominated members of Rajya Sabha, nominated members of Lok Sabha. Now there is no nominated member in Lok Sabha, the two Anglo-Indian that has been dispensed with. So, nominated members of Lok Sabha, nominated members of Rajya Sabha, and legislative council members. Why? All states do not have, only 4 or 5 states have legislative council. So you cannot have a equal representation, and nominated members of legislative assemblies cannot vote. Subject to this, now read it. President of India is elected by an electoral college consisting of elected members of both the houses of parliament and elected members of legislative assemblies of all states, including Delhi, Pondicherry and J&K, by a system of proportional representation by single transferable vote and the voting being secret. So, this is how the election is held. What do you mean by proportional representation? What do you mean by single transferable vote? And these two items we will discuss along with the formula in the next class. Thank you. I want that if the class is useful to you, kindly let me know. If it is not useful, you can plainly tell me, okay, so that I can correct myself. If the speed is more, if you are not able to understand, you kindly enlighten me so that I can change the course of teaching. Thank you very much. Thank you.